Good morning, everybody. My name is Akita Akari Aurora, and today is July 25th, considered on the Mayan calendar the day out of time. And today I want to thank you for joining me at Spirit Prescriptions, first and foremost, and have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Today I wanted to do something a little different. It's a little project that has been in my mind for the last couple of weeks, and I'm still testing it out, but I said today I would test it out and make a video. I have been guided to merge or integrate a couple of the things that I've been using to guide myself. There are two parts of this journey of life, right? Is knowing ourselves, know thyself, and then there's knowing the outer world, what's happening around you, as well as what's happening within you. I guess it's that merge of as above, so below, as well as so within, and that's a lot of that so below part is what's within us. So I'm creating or developing a guide that will help people to see the outer soup. I'm calling it the cosmic soup of the day or the cosmic soup of the week so that we can align ourselves and with the energies around us. And every day or every week or every wave spell, I'm still working out the details that it's not just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but we really have an understanding of the types of energies that are happening, the outer energies that are happening around us. And based on our knowledge of self, know thyself, we know how to move with those energies, how to merge with those energies, how to integrate with those energies. So, and I'm also trying to keep this video quite short, not too long. So we have to go through a couple of things. So I'm going to talk about the Mayan calendar. I'm going to talk about the gene key. I'm going to talk about the Neteru, as well as the moon. So we're going to use those four systems, those four energies, those four calendars, whatever you want to call it, to take a look at what's happening around us every week, every wave spell. And then we can decide as we move through the week and as we move through the wave spell is 13 days, by the way. As we move through the wave spell or the week, we can actually see the larger picture. And that's the whole point of this exercise, seeing the larger picture of really what is happening around us and what is happening for us and what is happening through us, but truly to expand our minds out of, okay, it's Monday. No, it's more than just Monday. Today, July 25th, 2022, is actually on the Mayan calendar, the day out of time, because the Mayan calendar uses a 260-day calendar and it starts their new calendar on July 26th. I'm also realizing that July 22nd, a very pivotal day in my life, is actually the Egyptian new calendar. It's the Egyptian New Year on July 22nd, right? So let's start with the gene keys. So the gene key that we're under now is called gene key 31. And I'm going to be reading from notes. I do have some cards just because the stuff that I'm talking about, I also have these decks. So I will be using the cards as well, just to give y'all some pictures as I talk about this stuff. But we're going to start with the gene key of the week. And the gene key, if you're not familiar with gene keys is a very beautiful system where they actually tell you what you're made up of, your genes. So it's like knowing your astrology, but in a much more in-depth level. Genekeys.com, go to it, find out your gene keys. And it also not just gives you the keys, but it gives you the keys that are related to your activation, like your authenticity, your genius code. It gives you the sequence for your prosperity code, as well as for your love code. So it's really, really a nice guide to absorb, or information to absorb. And again, it's part of knowing thyself. And beyond what we individually have as gene keys, there's also this calendar that we're going around, that we are experiencing every year. And different weeks or different days, there's certain gene keys that are being activated based on the the calendar, right? Based on the gene key calendar. All right. So right now, between I think it goes from July 25th. I'm going to say to July 30th. I'm not 100% sure. But they usually last for about 4 or 5 days or 4 to 6 days, right? So I'm going to say this is gene key 31, and this is going to go from about July 25th to at least July 30th or maybe even 31st, okay? And that's also very powerful dates as well, right? From the 27th, those last 5 days in July, very powerful days. We get some powerful energies coming in to the earth realm. So this gene key 31 encompasses a lot of that part too, a lot of those days as well. So we're merging the Neteru with the gene keys, with the moon, as well as the Mayan galactic calendar. Okay, so the gene key 31 talks about humility, leadership, and arrogance. And what the gene keys do is they take you through 3 levels of each gene. So you have your shadow, your gift, and then you have your CD, right, which is your highest point, right? So when you have cleared out all of your density and your heart is fully opened, right? So let's look at arrogance, and it's the shadow. And remember, shadows lead us to the light. So it's shadow, and we can look at ourselves this weekend as things happen around us and say, okay, am I approaching this with arrogance? Am I approaching this with leadership? Or am I approaching this with humility to see where we are? Even if we don't have this gene key within us, we can still gauge and observe ourselves to see, okay, what level, what frequency, what vibration am I approaching life with? So let's look at arrogance, the shadow of gene key 31. It's being cut off from our divine source, arrogance. So really not us not knowing, and it's kind of going with like arrogance and ignorance, if you could kind of put it together. It's like not knowing our true selves, not seeing our whole selves, not realizing how connected we are to divinity and to nature, and knowing that we are one with it, not separated with it, and seeing that relationship play out. It's knowing that, or not knowing that language really controls humans. Now, what does that mean? The language is how we speak. It is our activation. We speak everything into existence. So the words that I'm using are based on my heart. It's based on the emotions, what I'm feeling right now, right? So I'm speaking my heart and my wisdom and my knowledge, right? So my words are my frequency and my vibration. So it's not the other way around. We think that, or we tend to think that, oh, we're controlling our words, but our emotions are actually controlling our words. So if I woke up today feeling depressed, if I woke up today feeling that I wasn't capable, if I woke up today feeling unworthy, then I was not going to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get pretty, and I'm going to put this video together, and I'm going to speak to the world, and I'm going to give them inspiring and motivating words. I'm feeling inspired and motivated. So this is the frequency that I am able to project out to you through my words, right? And this whole gene key 31, the vehicle is the throat chakra that we're using. We're using the throat chakra mostly through this gene key. So knowing that our language really controls humans and not the other way around, that humans are controlling the language and that we're controlling everything. So our arrogance comes out in thinking that, hey, we're really in charge of this stuff, Now, we know that we have dominion, but there's something that, was spurring in me for a while. It's, what is that dominion really mean? It doesn't mean that you're the top dog. It means that you are here to care for. and to take care of a certain area, right? Not necessarily that you're in charge of it, or that in a hierarchical type way, you're on top and that one is on bottom, but you've been given the gift or the responsibility of taking care of, right? And protection. So, again, that arrogance, at what level are we operating at in terms of language as we speak to other people, and how we see ourselves, and the relationship that we are having with nature as well, with words, right? Nature controls human beings, and we must also understand that we are not separated from nature, but we are actually a part of nature. It's a partnership, right? So if we're in that arrogant mode, we're not even thinking, our mindset is not even there. We're not caring about the animals, we're not caring about the trees, we're not caring about the soil, about the air, about the waters. We're thinking, we're here, and what we do is impacting, and we're controlling. Okay, well, you know what, I'm gonna build this whole constituency on swampland, and no, but I'm not going to have any repercussions on that, or I'm not going to take care of the soil, or I'm not going to take care of the water and make sure the waters are not polluted. And the reality is that nature is really controlling us, because even though we have not been the best caretakers, the result of that are the weather systems, which then impact us. And we can see over the last 2 or 3 years how much the weather has impacted populations and civilizations having to move and having to just go through the flooding and the fires and all of that. So really, in that humbleness, humans realize that, hey, nature is really controlling us. All right. So again, how are we speaking and how are we working with nature? All right. So that, again, that level of arrogance, what are you feeling? What are you saying? What are you speaking? What are you even knowing when it comes to your relationship with the elements and with nature and with animals? Okay. So again, that level of humility, um, and leadership, again, in this relationship with nature, this relationship with energy, and how we're speaking everything into existence. Okay. Now let's look at it. They have false humility and also being scornful. So that's, again, in terms of arrogance. Are you feeling below others? Are you putting yourself below others? And that would be that false humility, to saying, oh no, don't give me any praise. Oh no, don't do it. No, no, no. And then a lot of people do that, but they really do want the attention. You know what I mean? So there's this false humility where they project it onto others, but really that's to make themselves look more like, oh, the savior type, right? So that's that false humility, when you're purposely, consciously putting yourself below others in order to be, I guess, to recognize or to be praised or whatnot, or to have that whole savior type archetype on you. And then scornful, when you think, oh, I'm better than somebody, or so that's the true arrogance that we are very familiar with. And when we scorn others, right? So watch ourselves, and again, this just be observance. Observe yourself, no judgment. But really, this is self-observance and realizing, okay, at what frequency am I operating at during this week, where gene key number 31 is it impacting us most, right? Okay, so then that's the shadow energy, that shadow of arrogance. How are we looking at things? Are we looking at things in a very arrogant way? Are we looking at life in a very arrogant way? Our relationships, are they, are we experiencing them? Are we projecting arrogance as opposed to humility, right? So let's go into the next one, which is leadership, which is the gift of gene key 31, leadership. And that is the gift of influence. So it's a collective. Now, when we look at leadership, we know that people want to be led, right? And that people sometimes prefer to be led than to be the leaders. I mean, there's followers and their leaders. That's just how it is, right? So there's some of us that say, you know what, I'm looking for somebody to follow. And there's some of us that saying, hey, I know I'm a leader and I'm going to lead. You know, which one are you? Are you the follower or are you the leader? No judgment, just self-observation. But if we are deciding to step into the role of leadership, are we doing that with self-interest? Or are we doing that for the wider community? And that's two levels of being a leader, right? So a leader has the gift of influence. And what's so popular now is social media, the influencers, right? How are we influencing people? How are you influencing people with your life and your daily life and your energy and your words, right? How are you influencing others? How are you even influencing yourself, right? Right. And with that perspective of the collective choice of people is usually to choose a leader, not because of their integrity or their policies, but actually because of their style. So we can even ask ourselves, what makes me choose a leader? Like, what am I looking for in somebody else to say, well, you know what? That's somebody who I can trust, or that's somebody who I am going to listen to. And that's somebody who I look to as a leader. So who are your leaders? What aspects of leadership are you responding to in terms of other leadership styles, right? Who is really influencing you? Again, this is for us to observe and to look at ourselves as we move through this week, right? The need to be led and the need to be influenced, right? And all leaders have this mastery of language, again, the words. So are you being led by high frequency words? Are you being led by low vibrational words? That's something to observe. What is pulling your attention? What is grabbing your energy, right? And the shadow, again, the shadow of that is personal recognition, leader and led, shepherd and sheep, meaning, you know, are our leaders looking for sheep? Closed eyes, but come follow me. You know, the forgot the word that they use, the spin doctor, right? Right, the spin doctors who really don't have any integrity, but they're saying the right words and the cliche stuff, and they know what to, the sound bites, right? They have the perfect sound bites, but really, what's the depth there? What's the true essence of the message? What is the outcome? What is the intention? You know, and that's what we really have to look at as we listen to who we call leaders. What is the true integrity and intention of their message? What is the agenda? And that's important for us to know when we're choosing, hey, this is someone who I'm going to listen to. This is somebody who I'm going to follow. What are their intentions? What is it that they're really trying to achieve? Are they trying to achieve something for yourself, for the wider community, for themselves? Like, what is that intention here? So there's something for us to be aware of in terms of these leaders, or whom we are calling leaders. Are the leaders acting in their shadows? Or are they acting in their highest energy? Okay. The gift frequency, again, is if the leaders are acting in the gift frequency, the higher frequency is they're breaking mindsets out of the matrix. So they're not looking for sheep. They're actually looking to create more leaders and more masters of their own destiny, right? They're not looking for codependent relationships. They're not saying, hey, you need me to get here. They're saying you can get yourself here. There's something in you that's powerful and that needs to be activated. You can do it, not I can do it for you. That's something really important to look at, right? In terms of whom is my leader, or how am I being led? All right. Leaders help, if they're acting in their gift frequency, leaders help people out of their narrow neuro linguistic confines. of their own conditioning, right? So again, it's about breaking mindsets, allowing people from go from one space to a wider space, allowing their hearts to go from a closed space to an open space, right? Inspiring and motivating self-mastery, inspiring you to be the best you, inspiring you to work with other people to that do something that will benefit the wider community long term, not just short term stuff, the wider picture, the wider community. And branding from our hearts. That's what gifted leaders do. They speak to our hearts, right? And we're also, and again, we're using words of heart. We're not using words of fear. We're not using words of poverty mindset. We're using words of abundance and truth and heart activation, powerful and empowering words, right? Check to see if we're leading with self-interest or again, for the wider community, the success and good and balance and bringing harmony into the world. It's not me against them or us against them, but it's, hey, let's come together as a community and let's see what we can do again for the wider community, not us against them, not that separation again, right? So going back into the arrogance, that whole energy of separation, right? Being mindful, look at that, feel that tone, listen for that tone. Is it a tone of community or is it a tone of separation? Is it a tone of high frequency or is it a tone of low vibration? Is it a tone of love or is it a tone of fear, right? Observation as we move through this week of that gene key number 31. And then let's go into the highest energy of it, the CD, which they call humility, right? So being that humble leader. And what's that? That is separation from existence is finished. So there's no more me versus them. It's, hey, I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this for we. I'm doing this for the whole globe, the wider community. Who I am being is serving not just myself, but it serves humanity. No more separation, right? There's a note there that says energy is actually arrogant, and that's like the masculine side, but the female side, the matter, is humble. And this is looking, this is a submissive, this is a energetic side, not a man for woman and physicality, but more the energy, the energy of energy. So if we look at like I say, like lightning, right, and thunder, and even with the certain archetypes, you know, it says it's just the energy, right? So the energy is arrogant. I am who I am. I'm standing by myself. But when we come into matter, we are now formed in something. We have also combined and joined with something, and we are now coming into the new thing. So that's more of that submissive energy. I'm not fire. Fire mixed with wood. So I ash, the new thing, you know, I've had to, the wood has had to submit to the fire. So now it's matter, it's a new thing being formed, right? The heat, we have to submit to the melting of ourselves to form the new thing. That's that feminine energy. So the whole energy of humility is really a female polarity, as they would say. And energy is arrogant, and that would be a male polarity. So, and it says humility actually, so arrogant tries to be humble. Arrogance, this is a mind twister, but arrogance, to check yourself, arrogance tries to be humble. Humility doesn't care what other people think, right? So basically you're doing what you're doing because it's your job, you're passionate about it, it's about heart, it's your mission, it's soul led, and you know, hey, this has to be done. It's not about, okay, I'm doing this because I want to get this and I want to get that, and this person is going to think this about me and I need them to think this and none of that. It's a whole different ball game. So arrogance tries to be humble, but humility doesn't really care what people think. You're just doing what you know you've been called and led to do. All right. So that's a little snafu of Gene Key 31, which we're going to be experiencing from today, July 25th, until about July 30th, I think. So watch yourself, observe yourself, see how you're approaching things as you move through this week. Are you approaching them with arrogance? Are you approaching them with leadership? And are you approaching them with humility? And what level of leadership? Leadership for yourself, or self-interest, or leadership for the wider community, for humanity, right? All right. And also they talk about the point of no return. What is that in Gene Key 31? So those of us that have the Gene Key 31 in us, there's this, they're calling it the point of no return. And what does that mean? That is the opening. So you are specifically activated to go from your fourth casual body to your fifth casual Buddha body. So you have that gene, that activating gene that truly allows you to open up into your fifth Buddhic body. So that's an interesting thing, right? And what that is, it's easier for you. I don't have gene key 31 in me, but you might have it. It's easier for you to really shed that ego and go more into that soul mission of yourself, right? It's that leap of consciousness. So again, for us, Gene Key 31, that means also to the wider community, we are leaping from our fourth body to our fifth body, from our casual body to our Buddhic body. So do some research. If you don't know what that is, do some research, tap into it so that you can know, yeah, the human body is not just our physical body. We actually have 7 bodies, one seen and the rest are unseen, right? So 2 of those unseen ones are the casual and the Buddhic body. So we are taking a leap of consciousness as human beings into another stage of ourselves. That too is what's happening around us this week. All right. And Gene Key 31 also takes the tradition of the oracle. And what is that? Being the voice box for the divine. I think I should have Gene Key 31, but I don't. But here I am, right? Again, it's impacting us. Even if you don't have it in you, it's still going to impact you in a certain way. So are you speaking your truth? If you're not an oracle, if you don't see yourself as an oracle, how about just, are you speaking your truth, right? Doesn't have to be ancient truths or, truths for others, but are you truly speaking your truth? And we're unattached to outcome because whatever comes out is perfectly said, so you're not so much worried about, okay, I hope we always we always want to say the right thing. Like even when I do these videos, I say, hopefully what the message that I'm supposed to deliver to deliver is delivered, that whomever finds the video finds resonance, and that truly what I am feeling and my intention from my heart is delivered and flows through me. I make notes sometimes and sometimes I don't, but you just trust that, hey, I am being that voice box of truth and authenticity, and I'm tapping into my divinity in order to bring forth the messages. Okay, so that's part of Gene Key 31, truly what I'm doing right now, being the voice box of divinity. All right, so okay, so that's it. That's Gene Key 31, the shadow of arrogance, the gift of leadership, and the city of and that's SHIDDI, I think it is, or SIDDHI. Forgive me for spelling it wrong. That again is just the highest frequency we can operate that gene in. So every gene is like we have to walk through the shadow of ourselves, and all of our genes have a shadow, a gift, and a CD level. So each gene, we have to walk through that shadow, access the gift, and be the energy of the CD, right? So we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. All right, so that's the gene key 31. And then so now we're going to go into the Mayan galactic calendar. Now as we go through the same July 25th to July 30th, now the Mayan galactic calendar is a different energy every day. So July 25th today, I'll just talk about today, is the yellow electric star. And that's Lamat. And that this is actually my galactic signature, energy signature Lamat, right? It's the yellow guiding star, but I'm yellow magnetic star. Today's energy is yellow electric star, but it's the same tribe, the yellow star tribe. Okay. So, what is Lamat all about? And again, this is energy that we can all tap into today. The next, well, this is Lamat, it's just for today. This is the energy that we can tap into for today. So let's discover Lamat. What does Lamat actually stand for? Well, it's also three. Today's energy is a three. Three Lamat. It's the third day of this 13-day wave spell in the Galactic's calendar, right? So I made notes on the energy of three. So three is the luminous triangle made visible, right? Because there's one, there's two, and then that 1 plus 2 brings forth the new thing, right? So the three is the energy of three is the luminous triangle made visible. It's the ray of rhythm, the galactic heartbeat of being in natural flow. It opens ourselves up to the current change. So it's saying, come into the new thing. Go with the flow of your life and come into the new thing being formed, not to be in resistance to where life is taking you. And I made a note that three comes out of 1, 2. Three is the new thing coming out of the 1 and the 2, right? The new creation is sacred. The integration of what was lost, separated, or obscured, meaning hidden, allowing creativity to express the beauty and the inspiration of our spiritual journey. So that is the energy of three as well as Lamat, interestingly enough, which is allowing creativity to express the beauty and inspiration of your spiritual journey. So being creative in truly expressing to others your truth, your spiritual journey, because your life, our lives are our spiritual journey, you know. You are your spirit. So your journey of life is your spiritual journey. How you're approaching that, how you are alchemizing that, are you winning or is it beating you up? You know what I mean? Or is it a challenge? Like how is that going for you? So again, all of this stuff is about self-observation. So as these days roll through, you can look at yourself and see, hey, how am I really approaching my life and my journey? Right? Lamat is a symbol of harmony, a star seed, beneficial combinations, way shower, an octave, meaning we going from one dimension to another, right? Finishing an octave, an octave in 8, and now going to the next level of yourself. Expanded love, star-crossed relationships, gateway to the 5th dimension. So that's the energy today. And again, remember today, July 25th, on the Mayan calendar is the day out of time. So this day out of time, the new calendar starts tomorrow. So this day out of time says, hey, this is a day for us to ready ourselves, because we are now leaping to the next dimension. We're about to start this, again, cycles within cycles, this new journey of ourselves, right? Discovering new things. And again, what does it say? Bringing things that were lost or obscured and finding them, right? So going back into the past a little bit, finding those tools and bringing them forward for the new generation and for the new experience and for the new dimension of yourself, right? Harmony, blending different energies, thoughts, people, and processes together, coming into harmony. And, you know, like not just wanting harmony, but you yourself realizing, hey, I have to be a part of the harmony that I want to see in the world. So what does that mean? I have to get along with other ideas. I have to merge myself with other thoughts. I can't be always in resistance to things that are not my things, but to create harmony with um what opposes me or what might be different from me. It doesn't mean that friction has to be created, that we are an element and an energy of harmony, and that our energy that we project into the world is creating more harmony with other things in the world as opposed to resistance or friction, right? And we're returning to the stars through our hearts. Again, we're returning to the core of who we are through the healing of our hearts, and being more heart-centered than quote unquote logical, you know, but being more heart-centered. I'm being led more by my heart intention as opposed to just logical and being stuck in duality. So that again, Lamat, bringing all of it together, there's no duality there, but really seeing how even in duality, there's this center point that joins everything together, as opposed to looking at what's on the left and what's on the right. But even in duality, there's a union in the center, combining those two things together. Expanded focus, unity of awareness that encompasses aspects of the larger constellation of self. So again, seeing ourselves not just as this physical being, but this expanded being and this multiple layered being, and knowing that there's a union in that multidimensionality within myself, and there's a center there, right? The ego self as well as the essence self, and operating in both. Right? Not always being in your ego, stuck in your ego, and not always being in your, you know, your essence self, but really finding that harmony between both. Okay, I got an ego and I got a soul. The harmony, where, how can I operate in the middle of both of those things, neither neglecting any and not being too much or too little of any either. Okay. The mat is also about the rabbit. That's soft. If you think about that rabbit, it's soft, it's furry, it's lovable. And the rabbit has that rabbit hole that we go down into, right? And trusting that, okay, I can go down the rabbit hole, but also I can come up and be very earthly. So again, it's that level of being connected to your earthly self as well as your galactic self, and your, you know, all of your levels going down, earth and up, and the higher self, right? The love, the fuzzy, the earthly rabbit, the, you know, and then going down. So the animal for the mat is the rabbit. And then the number is 8, right? Harmonic resonance, infinity, and the colors are blue and gold, right? Being connected to the earth as well as being connected to your higher self. So again, that harmony of all levels of yourself, not being just one thing, but being really that multidimensional, and that portal expanding energy, right? Connecting earth and sky. So that is what Lamat stands for. Now let's look at some of the Lamat shadows and how Lamat helps us to work through shadows. Disharmonious relationships for growth, meaning you're going to grow through disharmony. So don't search for that disharmony. You know, there has to be some balance in that for you. Not always looking for, okay, like I literally, because my energy is Lamat. So at one point, actually in 2019, I actually had to declare, I'm not going to grow through struggle anymore. I'm going to grow through thriving and unity, not through the struggle. So there was a time where I was saying, yeah, I grow through the struggle. So I was calling the struggle in for growth. And I had to stop saying that. And I said, I don't need the struggle anymore for growth. I will grow through harmony and love. And it's happening, right? So the struggles I've stopped, truly have. Um, and then judgment from imperfect harmony. So watch yourselves in terms of, okay, if it's not perfect, am I in judgment of it? And realizing that, hey, even in imperfection, because there's no such thing as really perfection or imperfection, but in any state, all is well because you can alchemize it, be the alchemist of your life. The challenge is to enact harmony through duality. I was talking about that earlier. Love and harmony of self and not getting stuck in our current identity. Well, okay, so this is me and that's all I am, and I'm going to stay in this energy. Nah, like identity can be shifted easily. So every day, wake up and say, hey, who am I being today? And you can be so many different portions of yourself. Like astrology, it's the whole 12 portion zodiac wheel. And that astrology, we have so many of those signs within us. You don't always have to be the one thing, or you don't always have to be the mom, or you don't always have to be the wife, or you don't always have to be the doctor, you don't always have to be the lawyer. We can change our costumes, the avatar, as they have on Facebook. You can change your avatar, right? And decide, hey, I am a multi-dimensional, multi-talented, multi-everything. But today I'm going to be this. Like I'm an aromatherapist, I'm a shaman, I'm an energy balancer, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend. But I'm not going to be all of those things to everybody every single day. And sometimes I have to decide, hey, who are you today, Akita? And what are you going to be? Right? I'm going to be myself and the blend of it all, really. But sometimes, I have to say, okay, I'm in aromatherapist mode. Sometimes I'm in shaman mode. Sometimes I'm in oracle mode. Sometimes I'm in entrepreneur business, creating another business mode, so it just depends. But we can always shift and be different parts of ourselves, not getting stuck in just one portion of ourselves. And self-criticism, right? So check yourself on self-criticism. And then there are a couple other things. Let's check time on this. Couple other things. Ooh, I gotta go. A couple other things. But anyway, I don't want this to be too long, so I'll leave it for next one. The Neteru for this is, well, we're into the Leo season now. So the Neteru is Anubis, the shaman king, and Amun Ra, which is the sun. So that's Anubis, the shaman king, is the Leo energy, and Amun Ra is the sun, right? So now we're in Leo season. So it's the sun and the Leo energy. So Amun Ra represents solar energies, transfiguration, and alchemical gold, right? Because we are here to be the alchemist, and we must alchemize everything that comes to us to get the gold. And that's really what Anubis is also too. Well, it's an energy of surrendering, but that whole, and the opener of ways, Anubis has multiple roles, but it's about too the wounded healer and the wounded shaman. And what does that mean? Turning our wounds into wisdom, turning everything into gold, right? So I'll just read briefly the notes that I took down about Anubis and Amun Ra. And also we are in, just to do the moon quickly, because the moon is easy, we're in a waning crescent moon. So that means, and this is just the next 3 or 4 days because we're going into the new moon. So retreat, surrender, relinquish, relax, and trust in the darkness. The moon is just a slither. That waning crescent is just a slither. So in that moon phase, there's more darkness than light. But this is for us to retreat and surrender and to rest and to trust into that darkness. And then we go into the new moon on July 28th. So the next couple days, take it easy. Take it easy and just release, rest, and relinquish, right? Release, because we're stepping into this new season. And like I say, today is the day out of time to really center yourself and seed again this new path that's opening up for you to crown yourself in it, right? Get rooted and crown yourself in it, and seed, ask for what you want. Okay, so let's look at a moon Ra, which is the symbol of the sun, the Neteru for the sun, right? It's attributes of our personality. And I'll just do this quickly. Attributes of our personality that we can most rely on to assist us in manifesting our true selves. So that's the energy we're under. See, and tie this into Gene Key 31 and Lamont, right? Leadership, humility, the shadow of arrogance. But we're a moon rise coming out for us to bring out our best selves, the sun, right? The sun within ourselves, the living dance of darkness and light, the partnership, again, with the ego and the soul. That whole same thing that we were talking about again with with um with Lamont, right? Having that union of our ego self and our essence self, right? So again, here is a moon Ra coming out again too to say, hey, there's a partnership there. It's not one against the other. And again, that Gene Key 31, right? Seeing everything as a team and being a part, that type of leader, not us against them. So it's not soul versus ego. It's, hey, I have an ego and I have a soul, and it's a partnership, a loving partnership at that, right? And knowing that out of the darkness truly comes our awareness. That's what the darkness is for, to make us aware of what's in that darkness, what that darkness is truly holding. Not just to say, okay, it's dark, but that darkness actually has something. Even in Lamat, the darkness has that light bursting through it, right? So out of darkness into conscious awareness. So that's the energy of the moon Ra, of the sun. It is our vibral core, the healing, life-giving energy contained within our being. It is the God within. That's what a moon Ra stands for. And that's the energy we're in now. That's the Leo, or that's the sun energy, right? So we're all the solar energies, transfiguration, alchemical goal, being transformed and being transfigured into our best self. Remember the Mount of Transfiguration, right? So that is the season that we're in. That's the week we're in. That's the month we're in, right? Bringing the best out of ourselves, out of the dark, what's hidden within ourselves, bringing the best of ourselves and letting that rise and shine like the sun, right? That's what the sun, that's the a symbolism of the sun for us. Every single day, the sun rises out of the night sky, the darkness and the light, right? That cohesive relationship, that that every single day, what arises out of the night is this beautiful sun. That's reminding us that this is a daily eternal journey that we're on, of the never-ending sun, and that sun will always rise. So no matter where we are in our life path, the sun within us is always supposed to emerge out of our darkness, out of our genes, out of those keys. The shadow is there to let the sun rise, the gift and the city, right? And Anubis is the opener of ways, and he's also the shaman, the Leo shaman, which I didn't know, I now know. Right, so it makes so much sense. The shaman king, the Leo shaman king. All right, so Anubis escorts the newly dead into the underworld. The underworld is when actually the sun is when Venus is right by the sun. I was actually born and it's August season, because I'm an underworld Venus star, and that's when the Venus is behind the sun, so you can't see it because the sun is blocking it, so they call that the underworld, as opposed to moving to it or rising or going away from it. Is actually positioned so close to it that the sun is actually blocking the Venus, right? So so Anubis escorts the newly dead into the underworld and weighs the hearts on my scale. You know that part where it says, you know, we're weighing our heart. Your heart should be lighter than a feather. Ma'at, the Libra, the scale of justice. So Anubis is that guide that will take you into that journey and put your heart on the scale, right? It's the wounded shaman. It's the key to our evolution. Who have we come here to be? All of us must dive deep into our wounds in order to release our pain and to experience our pain and release it. So we must recognize it, we must acknowledge it, and then we must release it. No more putting our heads in the sand. Oh, no, no. You're feeling bad? What is this? Let me look at this. Let me process this. Okay, this is what it is. All right, let me release this. You know, really sit with our pain, sit with our triggers, and allow them, again, alchemize that energy. See the shadow, know the gift, experience the city, right? Um, and again, bringing the divine to earth, expanding into both of ourselves at once. It's time for us to recognize and acknowledge and release our wounds so that we can expand our consciousness. Anubis is the opener of ways, as well as he crowns ourselves with love and leadership. So again, that whole energy of leadership came in again. Gene key 31. So this is again connecting the gene key of leadership and humility. We're in that energy of the sun, the Leo sun, the shaman king rising within us from the shadow, rising into our best selves. The vibral core of ourselves, the healing and life-giving energy, allowing that to be expanding through the mat, as well as the gene key from the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension, you know? So, and the moon, again, the moon being the waning crescent moon, allowing ourselves to, again, sit and rest and release and trust the unknown, because we're coming into the newness. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is my first one. This is the energy of the week. So don't worry about when you turn on the news and you see this happening and that happening and that happening. The higher frequency is Gene Key 31, is Anubis, is Amun Ra, is Lamat, you know, and we go into more tomorrow. I don't know when I will be able to do another video, but I wanted to kick off today with this energy because it starts today, July 25th, with Gene Key 31. You guys have a wonderful, expansive, beautiful, golden week. Until next time, bye. This is your Cosmic Soup from Akita Akari Aurora.